Good afternoon, I'm Jess De Los Santos. This is One News Now. Death toll from Typhoon Karding has gone up to 10, while agriculture damage rose to over 1 billion pesos. The fatalities include the 5 rescuers who drowned in Bulacan. Deaths were also recorded in Zambales, Quezon, Bulacan, and Rizal. 8 other people are also missing. Typhoon Karding has also affected over 150,000 individuals, about a third of which are staying in evacuation centers. Damage to infrastructure is pegged at over 25 million pesos, while agricultural damage across Luzon is estimated at 1.3 billion pesos. Rice fields were the most damaged, with production loss pegged at 960 million pesos. Despite this, the Agriculture Department says the country's rice supply will still exceed demand for the rest of the year. Now, just days after Typhoon Karding, a tropical depression is now being monitored inside the Philippine Area of Responsibility. The tropical depression, locally named Luis, was last spotted 1,100 kilometers east of extreme northern Luzon. It is packing wind speeds of up to 70 kilometers per hour. The tropical depression is moving northwest at 25 kilometers per hour. Pag-asa says it will likely intensify into a tropical storm but will exit the PAR tomorrow. Former NEDA Chief Ernesto Pernia says the Philippines needs to double down on interest rate hikes to keep the peso from sinking further. Pernia told Radyo 5 that the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas needs to keep up with the U.S. Federal Reserve in hiking rates. The BSP recently hiked rates by 50 basis points and has hinted on further tightening. However, despite the peso's losing streak, Pernia believes that the local currency won't breach 65 against the greenback.
The reason why our peso is softening, is getting softer, is because the US dollar is getting stronger. And the US dollar is getting stronger because the Federal Reserve Board, has been raising interest rates.
Meanwhile, Pernia is urging the government to lessen its dependence on agricultural imports. He said focusing on domestic production will help lower the prices of basic commodities.
We really have to do something about our agricultural productivity, so that we don't import so much. We don't import so much. We have been neglecting our agriculture. That's the problem.
Chinese President Xi Jinping made his first public appearance after his first overseas trip in more than 2 years. The details in this report from Bloomberg.
There's been a lot of speculation online from abroad and inside of China about Xi Jinping's whereabouts in the last couple of weeks. But if you just look at the COVID-0 protocols, it requires all people returning from abroad to have 10 days of quarantine followed by, 7 days of quarantine followed by 3 days of home isolation. And this falls smack in line with those protocols. At least the public optics are that Xi Jinping essentially adhered to his own policies and his own protocols. But again, there's always speculation ahead of such a highly politically charged time like the Party Congress, which starts in 2.5 weeks. I remember when I was the China correspondent in 2012, 10 years ago, when Xi Jinping was first appointed, of course, General Secretary and President of China. He disappeared from public view for a few weeks, and there was lots of speculation, obviously, about his, dare I say, political standing. And that has resumed a little bit this time, especially since he made that overseas trip so close to the Party Congress. It's extremely rare for a party general secretary to go outside of China so close to what should be a leadership transition at the Party Congress. So all seems to be well. He was seen through state media as attending an exhibit in Beijing, hailing the successes of China over the last decade, the decade, of course, which he has been the ruler.
Morgan Stanley is the latest big bank, Steve, to predict China will likely ease COVID-0 restrictions by next year. It's interesting because there's not a lot of analysts that we're speaking to now that are willing to crystal ball gaze into what they might do after the Congress.
Yeah, that's always a difficult thing to predict what policy might come, especially, again, because of the Party Congress coming up in 2.5 weeks. But also you have the National People's Congress in March, where they act on a legislative basis on the directives that come from the Party Congress that starts October 16th. Predicting when COVID-0 might be relaxed is very difficult. However, Morgan Stanley is the latest of the big international investment banks to kind of earmark the spring of next year as a likely time that these COVID restrictions would be relaxed, because Goldman Sachs last week said China won't begin reopening until the second quarter of next year. Nomura sees possible opening after March. The NPC, by the way, is held every year in March. So we have to get through these politically charged events, and then maybe because of necessity, because slowing exports, slowing property market, the slowing economy is going to necessitate, according to many of these banks, an easing. And in particular, Morgan Stanley says this COVID-0 policy pressure will build because it kind of is at odds with common prosperity, with youth unemployment and other metrics really weakening.
More stories after this short break. Stay with us. For the opening of its 85th season this Saturday. The league will resume its other sports like football, swimming, tennis, and baseball. The UAAP basketball tournament will also adopt a new rule from FIBA, which allows coaches to have one challenge. Audience will be allowed at full capacity, although areas behind team benches are off limits for health and safety reasons. American boxing legend Floyd Mayweather is in Manila for a business engagement with health and beauty product company Front Row. Mayweather was welcomed by Front Row executives Sam Verzosa and R.S. Francisco last night. He had just beaten MMA fighter Mikuru Asakura in an exhibition match in Tokyo over the weekend. This is Mayweather's first visit to the Philippines since 2019 when he did an event also for Front Row.
I love it. Great place, great people. Love the weather. I'm happy to be back. I worked with Front Row before. I'm back to work with them again. I'm always here for them, and they have always been there for me.
For more updates, visit News5, the Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Jess De Los Santos. We are One News.